this week's programme of Greyhound View, we look back at the semi-finals of the TYRUR Champion Bitch 550 from Galway. The financial controller of Board Nagan, Michael Foley, spoke to us regarding the financial well-being of the industry, and we also take a look at the nominees for the 2003 awards. But first, it's racing from Shelbourne Park.
Another big night here at Shelbourne Park for the final of the Tote Gold Cup. Massive crowd despite the very cold weather conditions, and there are people here from all over the globe. In particular, we have the members of the Continental Greyhound Confederation, and with me I have Tomas Mika of the Czech Republic. Tomas, congratulations first, you're the new president of the association.
Thank you very much, Michael. Yes, indeed, I was elected today, and we are looking forward to a very eventful year. And our greatest pleasure today was that we got our 12th member country, which is the Slovakian Republic.
And Slovakian Republic, we wouldn't associate them much with greyhound racing. Is there much greyhound racing over there?
Well, you have to see that the countries where the sport will start, usually you would have like the first track. And that's just the case this year in Slovakian Republic. They will open up for trials within 2 months. And the first races should be in late summer this year. And they must have every chance. I think betting is not an issue there, it's not a problem. And we will support them as much as we can from our side and from the whole continent as well.
Well, the Czech Republic, do you have much racing there yourself?
Well, in the Czech Republic we have a long tradition of greyhound and other breeds racing. But it has been always an amateur sport. It's just in the latest time, in the last few years, that we are trying to get it more professional. And I have to thank the Irish Greyhound Board, which have offered us their support, and we will hopefully get it further.
Well, also here tonight with us we have Peter van Rooyen, the president of the Dutch Federation. Peter, you're enjoying your visit?
Yes, very much. Yes, you got the invitation of the Irish board, and we enjoy it very much. Last night, Harold's Cross, and tonight here for the big race.
This is somewhat different to racing in Holland, yes?
Yeah, it's very different. Mr. Taggart asked this afternoon what the distances are in Holland, and we got 2 tracks, one in the north, one in the south, and that's about, for one race, I have to do 600 kilometers, and the prize money is about 10 euros.
Oh, it doesn't pay well per mile.
No. And then he said, what's the biggest distance? Because we also go to the different countries in the European community, in our European organization, and the farthest trip for me was the European Championships in Finland, Turku, which was 5,500 kilometers with 5 dogs and none winners.
You're an enthusiast.
Yes, we are enthusiasts. And like Budapest is for us, what is 2,800 kilometers, I think, going for a race. But you don't do this every week.
People here complain about going 165 miles down to Cork.
And then still got a chance to win 500 euros or 800 euros. In over Budapest, if you come second, I think, what do you get? 20 euros?
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that. And in Moscow, 1,200 rubles, which is enough for 3 pints of lager.
Thomas, can you see racing in the continent becoming on a scale like here?
Well, it is difficult because that would be a very high measure. But definitely, if you take, as an example, if you take a country like Germany, where you have 80 million people living, and you have cities like Dortmund and so on, where you have an accumulation of 15 million people close to each other, people who like to go out for the evening. I think in Germany the biggest issue would be to get the betting legalized. In other countries, there's a chance, if you would put a similar stadium like this, maybe not quite as big as this one, maybe like Tralee, if you would place that in a big city in Europe, in most countries it would have a good chance. But you would have to persuade the decision makers and the investors. And we are trying our best to achieve just this. So we hope that within 5 or 10 years we can give you more positive news about that.
Well, those were the impressions of our friends from the continent. Thoroughly enjoying their visit to Shelbourne Park, and no doubt the Tote Gold Cup also. Now let's have a look at the runners on parade for the big one.
In one Phoenix Eyes, trained by Paul Hennessy for Nolene McCreevy and Anne Cox in Kildare, a son of Larkill Joe and Lady Nora. One of the outsiders, but perfectly drawn the rails, he'll be staying on strongly. To his first charter, owned and trained by Reggie Roberts, this son of Jamela Prince and Newbridge Girl flies from traps. He was a Derby finalist last year and he's worthy of much respect. In Trap 3, Legal Moment, one of the most consistent bitches in training, trained by Pat Buckley for Anne Buckley, a daughter of judicial pride and legal Jan. She's never far away. I think she'll go close. 4 Weatherman, trained by Johnny Dunhu for Pat Jones and John Duggan, a son of Velvet Tom and Haywood Melody. He goes up strongly, he powers down the back, he's available at 8-1, but he's a big price at that. In 5, Spinner's Choice, the outsider of the lineup, a second runner for Johnny Dunhu, owned by Fran Carey and Tom Dempsey in Wexford, a son of Jamela Prince and Shining Mist. He's won 9 of 23, can go up strongly, but would much prefer an inside berth. And finally, the favourite, Indian Ruler, trained by Jerry Holian for the Paw Doctor Syndicate in Galway, a son of Larkill Joe and Queen Maeve. He has brilliant early pace. If he can clear the corner, he'll take all the catching. Runners now in traps for the final of the Shelbourne Tote Gold Cup. Trap 6, the favourite, Indian Ruler. The hare now coming up behind traps. The break is going to be all important. And away they go, and first to show number 2, First Charter, powers into the corner, leads from number 4, Weatherman. Back in third we have number 3, Legal Moment, but around the corners, number 2, First Charter, number 6 now, Indian Ruler, showing big pace of challenge. Back in third, number 1, Phoenix Ice, normally comes with a power pack finish, down the far side, Indian Ruler and First Charter, then comes 1, Phoenix Ice, but into the third bend, it's Indian Ruler with First Charter, then Phoenix Ice, around the final corner, Indian Ruler and First Charter, now First Charter easing up on the inside, around the final corner, First Charter strikes the front, Indian Ruler beginning to fade, it's number 2, First Charter wins it. Second, number 6, Indian Ruler. Third, number 1, Phoenix Ice. The winning time, 29.66. A very decent time on a very, very slow track. And the result of the final of the Shelbourne Tote Gold Cup. Trap number 2, First Charter, an impressive winner. Second, number 6, Indian Ruler. And third, number 1, Phoenix Ice. The winning time, 29.66. This race was really decided at Trap Rise. Trap number 2, First Charter, bolted away in the blue jacket. As you see, Indian Ruler missed the kick slightly, but it's First Charter leading into the corner. At this point, he was going to take all the beating. Number 6, though, Indian Ruler did put up a big display down the far side. Number 2, First Charter leading into the back straight. But look at number 6, Indian Ruler. His big pace, but using up all his energy. At this stage, number 2, First Charter was still too close. He was always going to finish that much better. Around the final couple of corners, number 6, Indian Ruler still leads. But no, number 2, First Charter in an ideal position. He strikes the front up the home straight, and he stretches clear to win impressively.
No stopping Reggie Roberts at the moment. First it was Disguised last week, taking the big one, and First Charter this week, winning the Tote Gold Cup. Reggie, what's the secret to it?
A lot of hard work and a good dog.
Now, he got out, broke very well, and I'm sure you must have been happy going off the first bend.
Yeah, I knew that I'll have to run to beat him then, because once he leaves off the second bend, then he's not the fastest dog in the world down the back, but he's tough and he stays well. Like, he can get a 550, as we know in the Derby. He ran very well every night, but like the track was very slow tonight. But he ran a brilliant race. He's tough. He's a tough, good, honest greyhound, and they're the dogs you want.
And the dam is certainly doing you some nice favours. This is a half brother to last week's winner as well.
Yeah, and I had his other half brother, Olden Times, which was a really top class greyhound too in the final last year. He didn't perform, but he had a grassless muscle. But he was another great greyhound too. Really good, tough greyhound. They're very, very good, our Newbridge girl. You get the right one, you have the right one.
The nominations for the National Greyhound Awards have just been announced. In what was a great year, the 3 contenders for the Dog of the Year award are Climate Control, the brilliant winner of the Paddy Power Irish Derby at Shelbourne last September.
And it's Climate Control, 3 lengths in front, turning for a judge. Climate Control, Mustang Mega in second. 6 is Target, Climate Control.
Then there's Movie Gamble. Remember his brilliant victory in the Easter Cup final at Shelbourne earlier in the year.
Movie Gamble now a strong challenger on the outside. Back in third, Born Portage was slightly hampered, but out front, Nimble 2. Cloverhair up the home straight, Cloverhair, Movie Gamble up to the line. It's Cloverhair, Movie Gamble.
And the third in the running is World Class, the puppy that won the Champion Stakes and won the Vodafone Grand Prix, the Waterford Masters, so many other things. A great prospect for this year too.
And it's World Class on the final bend. Here comes Priceless Level with a big challenge, but it's World Class putting out more, and World Class goes on to win the Boyle Sports Champion Stakes.
The nominations for the Bitch Award, we start with Axel Grease, impressive winner of the Oaks at Shelbourne Park. A great race that, she had to show courage as well as class.
It's Axel Grease, 1 yard on the outside, a bump between them and still Axel Grease. Mustang Mega back in second, 1 yard in third, in around the home straight. Now it's still in front. Axel Grease being challenged by Mustang Mega coming to the line. Oh, it's a photo.
Then there's Legal Moment, winner of so many big events during the year, and of course a thrilling win in the Moyne Rebel Champion Bitch Stake at Thurles.
Legal Moment and BALLYMAC returns. Fergus Rose is back in third. Legal Moment our leader as they hit the final bend. Legal Moment followed home by BALLYMAC returns, and Miss LED takes third.
And then Mustang Mega, winner of the Harles Cross Oaks. But she'll be remembered as runner-up in that dramatic Oaks final, and she went on then to chase home Climate Control in the final of the Paddy Power Irish Derby.
Mustang Mega in second, 6 is tied, but Climate Control has won the Derby. Mustang Mega is second.
The sprinting category, the contenders led by BALLYMAC MINNIE, winner of the Red Mills Breeders' Cup at Shelbourne Park, is Tralee bred bitch.
BALLYMAC MINNIE running very wide but still leads. Number 3, Silver Helen staying on well, but number 6, BALLYMAC MINNIE, an impressive winner.
DALCASH Black, so consistent towards the end of the year in particular, winner of the Track Bookmakers Open Sprint at Harles Cross in track record time.
But number 2, DALCASH Black, this top-class sprinter, lands the spoils.
And another Harles Cross record breaker, Kill Me Lady Boy. He set a few records during the year and he was an absolute model of consistency.
Number 5, Kill Me Lady Boy, striding majestically up the home straight, wins it impressively.
And so to the stairs. And we start with a bitch that has starred on both sides of the water. Shelbourne Star, winner of the Red Mills Breeders' Cup at Shelbourne Park, among other events. And then one of the real stars of 6 and 8 bend racing in England.
She's such a finisher off the last corner. And number 2, Shelbourne Star, really flying home. She gets there. Shelbourne Star wins it.
Taming the Tiger only went 6 bend racing towards the end of the year, but he's unbeaten so far, winning the Munster Marathon at Cork.
It's Taming the Tiger. He hits the finishing stretch, and what an impressive win here for Taming the Tiger.
And that brings us to Top of the Best. So consistent over the last 2 seasons and winner of last year's Boyle Sports Cornflew Cullen at Harles Cross.
As Top of the Best challenges on the 5th bend, 2 group venture on the inside, 1 Tiger just in behind, and 6 moving customer is flying in behind. But coming to the line, Top of the Best takes it up. Top of the Best from moving customer in second.
The award winners will be announced at the National Greyhound Awards Gala in Galway on April 18. But one award winner already known is that of Brood Bitch of the Year, DROOPYS KIRSTAN. Her produce had a tremendous season. DROOPYS Cahill, winner of the Puppy Derby, and DROOPYS Scholes, winner of the Consolation National Puppy Event. Both of these now figure among the top favourites for this year's English Derby.
During the week, we paid a visit to the headquarters of the Irish Greyhound Board in Limerick, where we spoke to acting CEO and financial controller Michael Foley, pertaining to recent articles which appeared in the daily newspapers.
I think the industry in general is delighted to have Pascal back on board again. Certainly the executive here at 104 Henry Street is delighted to have him back as chairman. Pascal has been a tremendous force within the industry over the last 8 or 9 years. He certainly showed a very, very clear vision and a clear strategy for the board, and I think the developments to date have clearly indicated the success over recent years. I'd also like, I suppose, to comment in relation to a number of articles which have appeared in the recent press, in particular articles in the Irish Independent, which I feel were misleading on a number of fronts, not alone the financial front. In relation to the financial statistics of the industry, I think first of all, the important thing is to put in context for the listeners the growth that has been achieved under the reign of Pascal as chairman. First of all, totalisator betting has increased from 6.7 million in 1995, and we expect it to achieve an aggregate 50 million in 2004. Likewise, bookmaker betting has grown from 22.2 million in 1995 and is expected to exceed 91 million in the current year. I suppose what's very, very important for owners' point of view is prize money, and prize money would have grown from 2 million in 1995 to 9.5 million in 2005. And that's effectively money in owners' pockets, and that's very, very important from their point of view. Likewise, sponsorship would have grown from 0.6 million to 1.8 million in the current year. That is, by any standards, a phenomenal level of growth. I suppose the articles that have appeared in the Independent have been misleading, in particular the reference to the board being cash-strapped. One must appreciate that borrowing is a normal part of any business, and the board's capital development programme to date has seen in excess of 75 million expended on its programme in the last 4 or 5 years. The board's current level of debt is approximately 9 million. Now, that's an extremely small level of debt relative to the significant capital investment that has been undertaken. The image of the industry has been completely transformed by the type of surroundings and facilities that are now available to the public. From a financial point of view, what's important is not the level of debt, but it's your ability to repay the debt. I like to take people through just the general key elements of the financial model of the board. In 2004, the aggregate revenues of the Board and Gun Group will approximate 69 million. And after operating costs, that will leave net operating revenues of approximately 13 million. Now, those net operating revenues are distributed broadly in two lines. This year, in 2004, we'll spend about 7 million as distributions to prize money, leaving a balance of about 6 million for capital projects. Now, to the extent that the spending on capital projects exceeds that amount available, then there's a movement in the bank loan. Now, the bank loan is currently at around 9 million, and that will move over the next 2 or 3 years up to around 16 million. And thereafter, once the major capital development projects outstanding are completed, it will reduce significantly to a break-even situation in 2009. The board has gone an exceptionally long way in terms of the completion of its capital development programme in a very, very short time. As financial controller, I'm very, very satisfied that the level of debt is reasonable and is readily serviceable by the board and by its cash flows. The recent articles weren't just misleading in respect to the financial position of the board, but also in respect of Harold's Cross facing an uncertain future. I'd just like to put on record that there has never been any discussion at board level in relation to the sale of Harold's Cross, nor was it ever contemplated by the board in recent years. Finally, in Mr. Martin's recent article in the Irish Independent, he inferred a correlation between the increased prize money and increased drug taking within this board. I'm sure the general public knows, certainly I know, there's no such correlation whatsoever. This board has increased its drug taking procedures and the number of samples taken threefold in the last 3 or 4 years. And the board has a lab which is the only dedicated Greyhound testing facility in the world. So the board is extremely committed in relation to the integrity issues in the sport. The board has been inundated with correspondence over the last week or so, expressing its concern at the lack of balance in the coverage by John Martin in the Irish Independent. And I've no doubt that the frustration expressed to me personally by the general public will in due course be expressed directly to the editor of the Irish Independent. On an overall basis, I think the industry is standing in a very, very strong position. It is its chairman back who has a clear strategy and a clear direction. And I have no doubt that this industry can continue to go from strength to strength in the future.
The €40,000 TYRUR Champion Bitch 550 reached semi-final stage last Saturday night at the Galway track. This is Galway's biggest event in the calendar and has certainly proved to be very popular thus far. George McDonough takes us through the lineup.
In one, we have CORRIG NIKITA, finished third behind Ellen's Jaguar in a close finish in the quarter-final. The stake favourite is in Trap 2, TYRUR MARITA, one of 3 Paul Hennessy representatives. TYRUR MARITA was surprisingly defeated by SHALOME in the quarter-finals. Trained by the Iron Man from Road is the Trap 3 runner, Odette. Paddy McCormack handles this bitch for Eamon Curley, and Odette yet to taste victory in the stake but has qualified well. In Trap 4, we have SHALOME, owned in partnership by Mr. Seamus Graham and Michael McElhatton, provided the shock of the competition last week when outpointing TYRUR MARITA in a time of 30.32. In Trap 5 we have BARNTICK Sally, owned and trained by Mrs. Mary Reedy of Clarecastle, finished third in the quarter-final behind SHALOME. And the sole wide-seated runner remaining in the competition in Trap 6 is Piper Lady, owned and trained by Paddy McCann, was a surprise winner last week by 6.5 lengths in 30.51. The hare is behind traps for the first semi-final of the Champion Bitch Stake. And away they go, pretty level break. Up front first is Odette in Trap 3. On the inside is the track record holder TYRUR MARITA, who could get the first bend in front and does. TYRUR MARITA goes around the first bend in front from in second place. Trap 3 Odette in third, now moving into second. On the inside is Trap 1 CORRIG NIKITA. Back in fourth place we have on the outside Trap 4 SHALOME as they go towards the third bend. In front is 2 by 2.5 lengths. That's TYRUR MARITA. In second place is CORRIG NIKITA. Challenging in third is SHALOME, and on the inside Trap 3 Odette as they race off the home turn. In front is TYRUR MARITA. In second place CORRIG NIKITA, and TYRUR MARITA is going to get back on the winning trail. TYRUR MARITA wins. In second place is Trap 1 CORRIG NIKITA, and in third Trap 4 SHALOME for next week's final. Result of the first semi-final of the TYRUR Champion Bitch 550. First Trap 2 TYRUR MARITA, second CORRIG NIKITA, third SHALOME, time 30.26. The parade for the second semi-final of the TYRUR Champion Bitch Stake. In Trap 1 we've the Paul Hennessy trained FRIEDELS Save. FRIEDELS Save was well outpointed by Oldcastle Rosie in last week's quarter-final. One of the local hopes is in trap 2, that's Lady Temple. Owned in partnership by Brian Egan and Jody Mallion, Lady Temple was third behind Oldcastle Rosie on Saturday last. In trap 3 is TYRUR Jenny, finished second behind Piper Lady last week, one of 2 PJ Fahy runners still in the competition. In trap 4 is Vacant, and in trap 5 we have Oldcastle Rosie. Undefeated in the competition so far, has won last week in a time of 30:31, defeating FRIEDELS Save. And in trap 6, one of the outsiders, Miss Ciara Burke's MALBAY DEVIKA, has stayed on well to qualify in each of the 2 rounds so far and might prove the stamina once again can pay. The hare behind traps for the second semi-final of the TYRUR Champion Bitch Stake. And away they go, in a pretty level break once again. Trap 3 is in front, TYRUR Jenny. On the inside is trap 1, FRIEDELS Save. And on the outside is trap 6, MALBAY DEVIKA into the first bend. A dream run up the inside for trap 1, FRIEDELS Save. And comes out to the second bend by 2 lengths. In second place is trap 2, Lady Temple. Third on the outside is TYRUR Jenny. And in fourth is trap 5, that's Oldcastle Rosie. And last of the 5 is MALBAY DEVIKA to the third bend. In front is trap 1, FRIEDELS Save, attempting to make all. In second place is trap 3, that's TYRUR Jenny. On the inside in third is trap 2, Lady Temple off the home turn. And out in front it's FRIEDELS Save, TYRUR Jenny launching the challenge on the inside. FRIEDELS Save going to hold off TYRUR Jenny and maybe MALBAY DEVIKA for third. Result of the second semi-final of the TYRUR Champion Bitch 550. First, trap 1, FRIEDELS Save. Second, TYRUR Jenny. And third, MALBAY DEVIKA. Time 30:42.
Well, Paul, word came through from Galway. Very successful night for you.
Yeah, it was. We won both semi-finals. TYRUR MARITA won her heat in, I think, 30:22, and FRIEDELS Save came through and won her heat in 30:40 odd something.
And now 3 finalists.
Yeah, Jenny was second in her heat as well behind FRIEDELS Save. So, you know, it only takes one to win. It only takes one to beat you in. So we'll be keeping the fingers crossed and hope for the best.
1, 2, 3. Have you done that before?
We have, Ian. Yes. But like
More than one occasion, I think.
Want to do, Ian. You want to do.
Any choice in particular?
None. The owners might be looking in.
The trap draw for the final of the TYRUR Champion Bitch Stake 2004. In trap 1 with TYRUR Jenny. In trap 2, CORRIG NIKITA. In trap 3, SHALOME. In trap 4, TYRUR MARITA. In trap 5, FRIEDELS Save. And in trap 6, MALBAY DEVIKA.
Very pleased. Marita had a very good run. Once she got to the bend, I think it was going to be very hard to pick her back. Jenny ran very well in the second heat. He should maybe a bit unlucky not to win, but maybe she might win the next night. But looking at the draw for the next night, Marita has drawn top 4. Now in the first night she was in top 4. She broke the track record. So if she can repeat that, I think that she's the bitch to beat in the final. CORRIG NIKITA is well drawn in 2. SHALOME is very well drawn in 3. FRIEDELS Save may prefer maybe more towards the inside, but FRIEDELS Save ran very well tonight. And MALBAY DEVIKA can't be ruled out in 6. It's an open race. I think the draw has opened the race up, and made the best dog win the night.
For quick and concise information on Greyhound form, upcoming fixtures and a multitude of data, visit the Irish Greyhound website at www.igb.ie. Next week we have the finals of the New Park Stud Stake from Waterford, plus the TYRUR Champion Bitch 550 from Galway, the semi-finals of the Marianne O'Connor Champion on Race from Harold's Cross, and all the action from the Monaghan Benefit Night, which takes place at Shelbourne Park.